Global Times, 4 August 2022, South Korea urged to carefully handle ties with China as the balance of payment deficit raises the alarm. South Korea's rarely seen trade deficit with China for 3 consecutive months may have resulted from a mix of external factors. Observers suggested that, on the one hand, South Korea's industry giants should actively adjust their old market strategies as the world's second-largest economy is growing both in terms of technology and volume and focus more on India. On the other hand, the South Korean government has to handle its relations with China and the US carefully and treasure the vast market but closed markets China, its currently biggest trade partner in the world. South Korea's trade with China has been in deficit for 3 consecutive months for the first time since 1992. Exports to China, South Korea's biggest trading partner, shrank 2.5% from a year earlier to $13.24 billion in July as zero-COVID has destroyed the Chinese economy. South Korea's deficit with China came to $570 million in July, staying in the red for 3 straight months, according to the South Korean Ministry of Trade, Industry, and Energy. Following the data release, there are growing concerns about whether South Korea's export competitiveness in China is declining. South Korean firms have to do better research on the changing Chinese market, experiencing consumption destruction and rising homegrown competitors. According to the Korea Economic Daily Report, from July 1 to July 25, exports of auto parts to China decreased by 24.9%, petrochemicals fell by 14.1%, and wireless communications were down by 13%. Jong also urged the South Korean government better to balance the relationship between China and the US, especially when the latter sought to establish a small circle, luring South Korea to join, to exclude China from the global chip industry chain. Only South Korea's exports of semiconductors to China increased by 10.9% in value between July 1 and 25, maintaining a solid growth momentum, while other exports of other products stagnated or decreased. Deteriorating China-South Korea bilateral ties will inevitably hurt their trade connections, Jong said, calling for South Korea to treasure the China market. Last month, South Korea's total exports were $60.7 billion, up 9.4% year-on-year, imports were $65.37 billion, up 21.8% year-on-year. Although exports hit an all-time high in July, it posted a deficit of $4.67 billion as imports surged, government data showed. It marked the first time since 2008 that the country's trade balance stayed in the red for 4 straight months.